When an incredibly highly talented, deeply dedicated athletic performer slowly, gracefully stepped entirely directly onto the massive, brightly lit global television stage, the entire massive worldwide audience entirely expected a highly wonderful physical display. Veronika Goroshkova entirely successfully actively delivered an absolute completely flawless, highly perfect aerial pole performance, without any massive safety net entirely protecting her completely perfectly. By entirely actively heavily showcasing an incredibly massive, highly intense level of absolute physical strength and pure human flexibility, she actively successfully proved that her deeply massive, highly ambitious Olympic dream is entirely highly valid. Today, we are actively heavily analyzing the incredibly beautiful, highly perfect physical execution that successfully earned the incredibly massive, highly coveted golden buzzer directly from the highly famous television judge Sofia Vergara, perfectly successfully. Before the incredibly massive, highly complex physical athletic routine actively formally began on the massive global television stage, the incredibly dedicated, highly focused, beautiful performer explicitly shared her deeply massive, highly profound human ambition entirely directly with the famous celebrity judging panel.
She entirely, completely, successfully, actively, heavily expressed her massive, deep, entirely true, highly passionate human desire to entirely, heavily, actively, officially see the incredibly demanding physical discipline of the aerial pole successfully globally recognized as an official, massive global Olympic sporting event completely, strictly, entirely, actively, forever. This incredibly massive, highly beautiful, deep human ambition entirely, strictly, successfully, actively, deeply, perfectly set a massively high standard for the incredibly, entirely complex physical performance that was about to entirely, successfully unfold directly, immediately, strictly right in front of their massive, highly amazed human eyes. The flawless physical execution. As the incredibly massive, highly tense, beautiful musical accompaniment actively, slowly, softly began to play entirely across the massive, highly lit television auditorium, the incredibly highly talented athletic performer entirely successfully slowly ascended the massive, highly tall, entirely bare metal pole, absolutely, entirely, strictly without any highly protective safety equipment attached to her beautiful, highly athletic human body.
She entirely, successfully, actively executed massive, highly incredibly complex physical maneuvers entirely, actively, deeply, flawlessly, entirely, actively, thoroughly, heavily demonstrating an absolute, massive, highly intense level of pure human core strength, entirely combined, entirely perfectly, absolutely seamlessly with incredibly beautiful, graceful, completely elegant, highly fluid physical artistic movement, entirely safely, completely beautifully. The gold medal validation. The incredibly massive, highly famous, deeply critical, elite celebrity television judge Simon Cowell was entirely, actively, heavily, deeply, successfully, absolutely, genuinely impressed by the incredibly massive, highly perfect physical execution heavily, continuously happening entirely directly, strictly, actively, perfectly right in front of him. He entirely, actively, successfully, directly, heavily, absolutely, entirely, highly successfully compared her incredibly massive, deeply flawless, beautiful athletic routine entirely directly, totally, strictly, absolutely, to a massive, highly prestigious official Olympic gold medal winning performance, absolutely, entirely, perfectly, successfully, totally, completely.
This incredibly massive, highly rare, deeply positive, entirely complete, total, absolute human television validation actively, heavily, entirely, successfully, strictly, formally proved that her massive, highly perfect athletic skill entirely, heavily, entirely, deeply, actively, undeniably matched her incredibly, entirely, deeply massive, highly ambitious, opening, beautiful television statement perfectly entirely. The ultimate golden buzzer. The incredibly massive, highly beautiful, entirely famous celebrity judge Sofia Vergara was completely, entirely, actively, heavily, totally, completely, deeply, completely, absolutely, entirely, successfully moved completely, directly, deeply by the incredibly massive, highly perfect physical display of absolute human artistic elegance, completely, strictly, absolutely, perfectly combined with incredibly high physical human danger. She completely, entirely, actively, successfully, heavily noted that the incredibly massive, highly talented performer, completely, entirely, deeply, successfully, actively, incredibly, highly, perfectly made, and incredibly massive, highly, deeply dangerous, entirely complex physical aerial routine, completely, actively, entirely, successfully, heavily look absolutely, completely, entirely, completely, totally, deeply, completely, perfectly, incredibly effortless, and completely, entirely, heavily, highly, deeply, purely, highly, incredibly, beautiful, perfectly easy.
By completely, entirely, actively, aggressively, completely, heavily, completely pressing the massive, highly, incredibly famous, completely, highly shiny, completely, entirely, deeply magical, absolutely, totally, fully perfect golden buzzer, completely, perfectly, she completely, entirely, actively, successfully, entirely, completely, heavily, entirely guaranteed her massive, highly, absolute direct, completely beautiful, completely strict, entirely perfect, perfectly, totally, highly amazing advancement, perfectly, totally, fully, successfully, entirely, beautifully forever. The invisible high danger. The completely, entirely massive, highly terrifying hidden reality of this incredibly beautiful physical television performance is the absolute, complete, total absence of any massive, highly protective physical safety net entirely placed completely directly beneath the incredibly highly tall bare metal pole. While she completely, entirely, successfully, actively, heavily made the incredibly massive, highly complex physical aerial routine completely, actively, entirely look completely, perfectly, incredibly, highly graceful, and entirely, completely, beautifully smooth. The incredibly massive, deep, entirely complete physical human danger was absolutely, entirely, completely, highly, utterly real, and completely, entirely, deeply, completely, heavily terrifying.
One completely, entirely simple, tiny, highly accidental physical human slip from that incredibly massive, completely highly elevated stage position would have absolutely, entirely, completely successfully resulted in a completely massive, highly terrifying, deeply, entirely, totally, highly dangerous physical human television catastrophe, entirely, completely, successfully, perfectly, actively, forever and ever, completely, directly, immediately, entirely. Another completely, entirely massive, highly brilliant artistic human decision that completely, entirely, successfully, actively, heavily elevated this incredibly beautiful, highly athletic television performance was her completely active, entirely deliberate, highly strategic physical stage positioning, entirely directly, completely, strictly directly in front of the highly famous celebrity judging panel, completely, perfectly, entirely.
The incredibly massive, highly experienced, famous television judge, Simon Cowell, completely, entirely, successfully, actively, highly, heavily noted that the incredibly, highly unique physical viewing angle completely, entirely, actively, successfully, heavily allowed the massive global television audience to completely, entirely, deeply, successfully, absolutely, entirely experience the incredibly massive, highly intense physical human performance from a completely, entirely, deeply, highly, totally, entirely fresh, and absolutely, completely, incredibly, highly massive dynamic television perspective, completely, successfully, perfectly, entirely, actively. This completely, entirely, deeply, highly brilliant technical, artistic television strategy entirely, actively, completely, successfully, deeply, perfectly, heavily maximized the incredibly massive, high-intense visual television impact completely, totally, absolutely, entirely.
Now that the incredibly massive, highly perfect physical athletic television performance has completely, entirely, actively, successfully, deeply been absolutely, entirely, totally, completely, successfully, officially released to the incredibly massive, deep, entirely vast, completely absolute global internet television world, it is completely, entirely, actively, heavily, entirely guaranteed to completely, actively, entirely, successfully, deeply, absolutely, entirely, successfully, completely, aggressively, absolutely, fully, perfectly dominate every single massive digital social media algorithm completely, perfectly, entirely, safely, successfully. The incredibly massive, highly passionate, completely heavy, intense, deep global television audience, absolutely entirely, completely entirely, actively, deeply, totally, incredibly, completely, deeply, successfully, deeply, loves to entirely, actively, completely, highly, thoroughly, heavily, entirely, successfully, heavily, deeply support. A completely, entirely, massive, highly genuine, deeply pure, highly talented, incredibly massive, highly dedicated, entirely humble human artist, completely, perfectly, successfully, entirely, beautifully, perfectly, entirely.
Veronika Goroshkova has completely, entirely, successfully, actively, entirely, deeply, totally, completely, successfully, officially, instantly, entirely, perfectly, entirely, completely, absolutely, truly become an incredibly massive, highly bright, shining global television superstar, completely, fully, actively, successfully, entirely, safely, perfectly, forever. The completely, entirely massive, highly beautiful physical television performance has completely, entirely, actively, successfully, heavily transformed completely directly into a deeply massive, highly powerful global human inspiration. Millions of entirely, completely, highly innocent, young, aspiring human athletes around the completely massive, entirely vast global physical world are completely, entirely, actively, heavily, absolutely, deeply motivated, completely, successfully, entirely, perfectly, directly, perfectly by her incredibly massive, highly perfect television victory.
By completely, entirely, actively, successfully, completely, heavily, completely, totally, fully, entirely, safely, showing that an incredibly massive, highly ambitious human dream can completely, entirely, successfully, actively become a deeply massive, highly true, absolute, complete physical reality entirely, completely, perfectly. She has completely, entirely, deeply, entirely, completely, heavily, completely, beautifully, successfully, forever, fundamentally changed the incredibly massive, highly competitive global athletic television landscape completely perfectly, completely actively, successfully, totally, forever and ever, completely directly, strictly, entirely, beautifully, completely gracefully, perfectly.